Many people will tell you that when they went through their divorce, it was the most difficult time of their life. Divorce is usually overwhelming, emotional, and of course, very expensive. Tonight we hear the story of Telisa, who had a difficult marriage followed by a difficult divorce. She is one of the few people I know that actually changed lawyers during the process. Her story will reinforce the importance of having the right lawyer, as well as encouraging you that life after divorce does exist, and well, it can actually be pretty darn good.
I was married for 14 years. We were together 16 years. We dated for a couple of years first and then got pregnant and decided to get married. My marriage was rocky the whole entire time. My husband had issues regarding his childhood, basically, that he never dealt with, and it brought into our marriage a lot of domestic violence. About every 3 months, there would be some kind of attack, let's put it that way. Okay. And because of that, it kind of, from what I've learned, it kind of goes back to the honeymoon phase. So every 3 months there would be this great honeymoon phase, and we would open another business and we would move, and there was all of these distractions to kind of keep me hopeful.
Telisa is fortunate enough to find a counselor that gives her the strength she needs to make a major change in her life.
Going to another counselor and talking to the counselor, and on the intake, she really woke me up and said, "You are in a domestic violent relationship. If you continue to stay in this, at this point, what you've gone through, you're not going to make it, and neither will your children." And she really encouraged me to get a restraining order and get out.
Divorce is emotional, and Telisa was clearly vulnerable. She hired a lawyer believing she would be billed fairly and that they would be in this together, for the long haul. She paid the attorney a $10,000 retainer fee, and a month and a half later, it was gone. According to Telisa, she offered to make monthly payments, but was turned down.
I don't feel like the billing process was fair, because after she fired me, basically, because I wouldn't give her another $10,000 immediately, she wouldn't work with me. She wouldn't take payments of $2,000 a month even. So at the end of our relationship, her assistant happened to send me some other bills from other clients of hers.
They were mailed to you by accident?
They were mailed to me by accident, 2 other clients. And I put the bills side by side and saw where this client was being charged $25 to turn in a photograph. I was being charged $150 to turn in a photograph, where this client was being charged $50 to make a phone call to her. I was being charged $100 to make a phone call to her.
Telisa is on search for a new lawyer, and this time her criteria is a little bit different.
My experience with Marta was very calming. She really kind of took me aside and said, "Look, it doesn't matter. Not that it doesn't matter that you went through this, but now the legalities of it, you need to understand, are not emotional. You feel emotional, but this isn't emotional. This is black and white, and the way things work in the law is very black and white, and you're going to get through this. I will charge you something fair," which was a big issue for me.
Now, Telisa also spoke highly of the fact that you were willing to work with her on the payments and just kind of giving her a way to continue forward that was workable for her.
Well, she said $2,000 a month for your attorney fees is reasonable, and it is. You do want someone who's willing to try to be reasonable, to work well with the other attorneys, because you usually get your best deal by negotiation, not by war.
Telisa explains to me that her and Marta are a great fit right from the beginning. And I spent some time talking to Marta about her 37 years practicing family law, her approach, and how she stays so calm in the middle of everyone's chaos.
That used computer, that used television set have tremendous value, and you try to put it in the context of in what it's going to cost you to write a letter and then to go to court and to litigate over old used things. You could go buy new things with what you will pay your attorney. Oh, okay, I guess that is silly, isn't it?
So one of the things you might recommend to people is to put into perspective what's really of true value. what's really worth spending money to fight for.
And to me, what has true value is their peace of mind, their ability to move on, intact, whole, financially intact as best you can.
So over 30 years of being, in family law, you've probably seen just about everything, but what are some of the most common...
You always think that, and then you're surprised.
What are some of the most common things that you've seen that cause divorce?
Well, there's domestic violence, and we've talked about that. In this town, there's a lot of drug abuse, alcohol abuse is rampant. Internet porn, internet relationships, that it's, so often, even if it's not the cause, there's a lot of that going on in the background.
So being a lawyer and dealing with everyone's emotions all of the time and people going through trauma in their life, I'm sure is very challenging and draining on you as well. So
it can be.
What do you do to keep yourself calm and keep yourself there as their kind of rock?
Well, I have my dogs, my boarders. Those are supposed to be good therapy animals. And I go across the street to Body Harmony and do Pilates a couple of times a week. I have a wonderful husband he's a therapist, who I can go home and share with and say, what do you think of this craziness going on?
Telisa turns something negative into something positive as she moves forward with her life.
I mean, every single day I just am happy to be free of it and back to my old ways of being independent and self-sufficient, and I have a job, and it does get better. It does really get better. I turned a girls' night out. I do every year a girls' night out for Valentine's Day, and it's called the Tutu Crawl. And this last year we did the Tutu Crawl and donated all of the proceeds to CAW this year. And they're great over there. They help women out. They help women of domestic violence out, the children. They're a really great organization here in town. I can't say enough great things about them. And I was happy to do it and happy to move on with my life and move in a positive direction.
Final words from Telisa for those looking for a lawyer.
First, I would tell them to find someone experienced, someone who's been in the game for a long time, especially divorce, because divorce can be very emotional and you can be taken advantage of very easily.
And final words for Marta.
Thank God, Marta. Thank God. That's all I can say. We made it, girl. We made it through.